Yeah, turn me up.
Bag up, bag up. Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord.
What's up, fam? It's your girl Sarah, back with another video. And today, I'm actually gonna break down exactly how I make beats. This video will be a part of my machine course, and I'm proud to announce that very soon, the machine course by me, yours truly, will be out very soon. It's gonna feature a guide for beginners that just purchased the machine. I know how frustrating it was when I first got my machine, and I never really understood how to use it. Wasn't a consistent tutorial on how to use it. So here I am, 6 years later. I wanna create a course and give you guys some tips, be able to share with you guys how I use it. Today we're gonna be using the Native Instruments Maschine expansion called Magnetic Coast. This expansion pack is crazy. It has beautiful loops, one-shots, a lot of cool sound effects, pretty much all the elements you need to create a beat like this within like a few minutes. So I'm gonna basically take this expansion pack, build from it, use whatever other instruments I want to add to it. The link will be down in the description if you guys wanna check out the expansion pack. You don't need Maschine to actually purchase the expansion pack. You can use it in Ableton, Logic. So the first thing I do, I come up to Maschine. I make sure I save my project with samples, and I open up a new project. I get out of idea mode, I go straight to the arranger, then I come to my machine, I go to browser, and I'm gonna go to groups. I'm only gonna focus on Magnetic Coast. I'm just gonna pick a random one. Ooh, I like this one. Like this one. Woo. So from this kit, I'm just gonna use the chord. First, choose your BPM. So by doing that, I'm gonna actually tap it in. Looks like it's a 89. Now that I have this loop, I'm actually gonna load up another loop, some hi-hat. And that's the thing, what I do is when I create a beat, all I'm doing is looping either 4 bars or 8 bars of a sample, maybe even more, depending on if it's like vinyl. But right now I just have 4 bars of a sample, I'm looping it, and the goal is to basically add other elements to this loop that sound good with the sample. So adding some other elements like drums, like hi-hat, a snare or a snap or a clap, a kick, a bass. Those are all the basic necessities in the beat, so we're gonna add those. Then on top of that, we're gonna add other instruments that sound good to the sample. So right now I'm gonna go to group B, I'm gonna go to browse, I'm gonna go to loops. I'm gonna search through Magnetic Coast's loops and actually go through their percussion. So the cool part is I can hit load and it's automatically going to loop with my sample. If I don't like it, I just load up a different loop. I'm gonna take out the metronome now and hit shift tap. Lower it a little bit. And with this percussion, I may add like a phaser just to see what it sounds like. I'm gonna go to internal phaser. It's a little bit of phaser. Next thing I want to do is add some drums, so I'm going to go hit group C, go to browser, scroll over to groups, and find another group. Pick a random one, get out of browser. Record myself doing that by hitting shift record. Gonna count me in. I wanted to change the kick and the snare, I could literally just load up a different kick. But right now it sounds pretty good. I'm just gonna add some more elements to the beat. Let's add a bass. So I'm gonna hit group D, go to browser, go to instruments. I'm gonna scroll down to my favorite bass. I'm gonna hit load, get out of browser. I'm gonna play it on my MIDI keyboard here. The cool thing about Maschine has the notes of the samples in the actual expansion pack. So I have a G, an A D, and another D. G, A D. Let's see if that's right. Woo! Easy, easy, easy. Let's do it. What else should we add to the beat? I'm gonna go to group E, completely blank. I currently have my SP404 plugged into the front of my audio interface. Connected to my SP404, I have my OP1 via headphone jack. So in order for me to hear on Maschine, I have to go to sampling here. Sampling also is this button here. I have to go to monitor and hit on. I also want to go under recording, choose detect mode. Whenever I hit start, Maschine will detect the sound and then start recording whatever sounds it hears. I'm actually going to bring this threshold down a little bit, just in case the sound is really low. It'll start recording whatever sounds that come out. Here we go, I should be able to hear this. The reason why I have this plugged up to this is because I can add effects on the go. A bunch of cool effects, delays, reverb, wobbles. So depending on what I hear, I'm just gonna record it eventually. So I'm just gonna play around. Okay, let's say I wanna record that. I'm just gonna hit start. And I'm just gonna play along as if I'm actually recording in here. It's not gonna record, it's gonna record a sample, but I'm gonna play along with it. So let's. Stop. I'm now going to record the cool little spaceship noise with the song. Continue to add layers until I come up with something that I know will be great with the beat. So just playing along, having fun. Biggest thing that I recommend while you're making a beat is to go to File, Save Project with Sample. It's super important to make sure you save your projects before, during, and after you're making the beat. It's also important to make sure you save it with the samples. So I'm gonna continue to play around with some sounds in the OP1 real quick. I take the elements of the song and I kind of think about how would the song start. The purpose is for me to take these 5 layers, basically take them and figure out how I can eventually have all of them playing at the same time, or most of them playing at the same time, and then removing elements. First starting with the leads and then building up, and then coming to a point where we have most of the instruments and layers playing, and then being able to take elements out, and then the song ends. Right now, I have pretty much what I need to create a whole song. I have, like I said, 6 different elements. I'm gonna start off with the OP1 and the chords, and then I'm gonna build up to the percussion. What I do first, I have these 5 elements stacked up in one scene. So I always keep this as a reference. So what I do, I'll go up here to scene, I hit duplicate, and it basically gives me exactly what I have duplicated. But once I manipulate this side, it doesn't affect the other side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove all the elements that I don't need in the beginning of the song. I'm going to just keep the chords and the OP1. I'm going to unmute everything. It's going to sound like this. The next part of the song, I want to have that exact same thing plus percussion. So I'm going to hit duplicate. I'm going to come here. I'm going to remove everything I don't want. And just have that extra element of the percussion. So the song basically is 4 bars of the chords, the OP1, and then it comes halfway with some percussive sounds. And then right before the next 4 bars, I want to have some of the kick in the snare. So what I do, I come to the section that's empty. I'll load up pattern 3, which is the same pattern that's in this reference scene. I come here and I actually right click and hit duplicate. And what I'm going to do is remove everything in the beginning of this pattern and only keep the last couple of sounding like this at the end. So instead of it just going into that scene with just drums, the drums start a little bit before, which is really cool. So that's kind of some things that I'll do. I'll actually duplicate this reference track or this reference scene, delete anything I don't want to have playing, and I'm going to duplicate this scene again so it's 8 bars. I come here to my reference scene, I duplicate it again. And then this scene is leading into the bass, so I'm going to keep the bass, and I'm going to remove this lead here. And then I'm going to duplicate this scene again because we're going to have just 8 bars. So far we have the song leading into just having the chords and the OP1. Got the percussion element added, and then it goes into the rest of the drum. And it repeats. And then the bass comes in. Repeats again, the same pattern. So the next scene, I'm going to remove the first OP1 leads. I'm going to actually duplicate the reference scene I have, hit duplicate, go to the one in front of it, remove the OP1 that I was currently using, and I'm going to allow the next one to play. So it's going to be play. I'm going to also duplicate that scene so it repeats itself. Towards this process, that's when I start removing elements, more elements, kind of having a breakdown of the song, removing some of the drums, and then building back up to the song, and then ending the song. So right here is where I duplicate the same scene, but I'm going to actually remove probably the snare. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate the scene that has the snare, but the one in front of it, I'm going to go to the pattern. I'm going to actually remove the snare. So for 4 bars, it actually doesn't have any snare, and then it jumps to going back to the pattern with a snare. From this process, I'm going to be listening to the song from the beginning. I'm going to be removing some drum elements, and I'm going to be stopping some of the patterns. So you'll see what I'm talking about, because sometimes less is more, and it also gives the song some groove. And speaking of groove, one thing that I'm also going to do is add some swing to the entire master track. So when I come up here, I'm going to push this up to around 15%. It's just gonna sound a little looser, less computerized. So I'm gonna just listen to the beat, and as you see, I'm gonna start removing some elements of the drums, and then I'm also gonna figure out what the inches sound like. Just gonna move this up a little bit, because all my drums are gonna stop at this 4th bar. Here. Remove this kick, this snare. I'm going to duplicate pattern 5. I'm going to have my percussion stop exactly where my drums stop, and have it start back up where the drums start back up. Going to go up to my chords, and I'm going to stop the chords for playing during the last bar by scooting up this. Pretty much want the whole track to stop making sound. So I'm going even to the bass, and I'm cutting it short. If I can do that here for the OP1 as well. My goal is for there to be silence and then it to jump into the next scene. So let's see what it sounds like. Little space of nothingness. It's a lot. Less is more, so sometimes you gotta take things out to make things sound really cool. The last 2 scenes, I have added the original OP1 sound. I think I'm gonna remove some snare at the end. Some of the chords at the end. That's pretty much the song. Other things I can do, for an example, cool thing in Maschine, I can go to groups, the plus sign, go to internal, go to perform XX, and it'll have this really cool effects thing. If I hit perform FX on my pad, there's this touch strip that I can mess with. So I have different options. I can come down to filter, have a stutter effect. So, add some more cool elements to the song. In order for me to record this effect, I need to hit record. I actually had to hit the auto button to do automation, because this is automation. And then I actually do the automation using my finger on the strip. So pretty much the song. Like, I just try to have some fun, try to just not think about it too much. Literally just adding layers and then taking those layers and spreading them out, but also not just having that spread being consistent. You want to take things out, you want to add some cool effects, add some cool sounds between transitioning between one scene to the next, and just kind of using all the different cool tools that the world provides. There's a lot of cool VSTs, a lot of plugins, a lot of cool effects you can add to your music, so don't have it sound so dry and boring. Like, add some cool things to it. If you're watching this on YouTube right now and you want to watch the full video, go to noquantize.com. It's going to lead you to my first course, the Maschine Beginner's Guide. It's going to give you tips and tricks on how I use Maschine, how to lead up into building a full song just like I did. I got you. I've learned so much from other people and other creators online, and I'm sharing that knowledge with you guys and kind of just showing you how I make and create with Maschine. Thank you so much for everything. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This is Beat of the Week.